And good morning. We go right to that news conference. The Los Angeles Fire Department holding a news conference at this hour.
Our first speaker is Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors Chair, Catherine Barger.
Thank you. I'm going to make my comments short because I know you want to hear from our fire chief and the people that are really have the information in real time. But let me just say, this is a dynamic situation. We've got fires throughout the entire county, which are spreading our resources very short. One of the things that people ask me is, what do you want to convey to the public? And that is, heed the advice of first responders. When they ask you to evacuate, evacuate. This is not a drill. This is in real time. So I want to thank the city of Pasadena, who's opened up the Pasadena Convention Center for those impacted by the Eaton Canyon fire. I also want to acknowledge our faith-based partners. All Saints has opened up their church for those that are evacuating the Pasadena area. But again, it's important for us to recognize that while the firefighters are there to protect structures, life is first and foremost frontline. We need to make sure that people heed the advice of our first responders. With that, I'm going to introduce our LA County Fire Chief, Anthony Maroney, to give you an update on what is going on. But I just want to thank Chief Maroney as well as Chief Crowley for the work that they are doing to make sure that our first responders have all the resources necessary. Chief Maroney.
So good morning. Thank you, Supervisor Barger. My name is Anthony Maroney. I am the County of Los Angeles Fire Chief, and I'm also the Region 1 Coordinator for Fire and Rescue Resources. I'm going to be giving an update on the Palisades fire in addition to the Eaton fire, although I am aware that we have 4 large fires burning in LA County at this time. The Palisades fire is located in both LA City and LA County. We are in unified command with the City of Los Angeles Fire Department, in addition to CAL FIRE. We have well over 5,000 acres that have burned, and the fire is growing. We have no percentage of containment. We have an estimated 1,000 structures destroyed, and also no reported fatalities, and a high number of significant injuries to residents who did not evacuate, in addition to first responders who are on the fire line. We have over 1,000 personnel assigned, and the cause of the fire is unknown. However, it is under investigation. For the Eaton fire, it is located in both the Angeles National Forest, the Altadena area of LA County, and Pasadena. LA County is in unified command with both the Angeles National Forest and the Pasadena Fire Department. We have over 2,000 acres burning at this time, and the fire continues to grow with 0% containment. We have over 500 personnel assigned, and unfortunately, we have 2 reported fatalities to civilians. Unknown cause at this time, and we do have a number of significant injuries. We have over 100 structures destroyed, and the cause of the fire is unknown and under investigation. I will ask that LA City Fire Chief Kristen Crowley update you on the Hearst fire after I am finished with my remarks. The LA County Fire Department operational area consists of 29 separate fire departments in LA County, and all of those fire departments are at drawdown with no fire apparatus or additional personnel to spare. As the Region 1 Coordinator, I have requested mutual aid from the 5 counties of Orange, Los Angeles, Ventura, Santa Barbara, and San Luis Obispo counties. Additionally, last night, I contacted the State Office of Emergency Services and requested 50 engine strike teams. 50 engine strike teams is composed of 250 fire engines and over 1,000 personnel. We have also requested resources from out of state, as well as Northern California. Thank you to the first responders from Nevada, Oregon, and Washington State that are already on the road coming to LA County to assist. Lastly, the National Weather Service has predicted a continued red flag weather event with strong winds and low humidities, placing all residents of Los Angeles County in danger. To all of our viewers, please prioritize your safety as well as the well-being of those around you as we come together to continue to get through this widespread disaster. Los Angeles County firefighters will remain on the front line until we reach full containment. And we ask that you keep all of Los Angeles County in your thoughts and prayers. I would now like to invite up Los Angeles City Fire Chief Kristen Crowley to give her briefing. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kristen Crowley, Los Angeles City Fire Department Fire Chief. I'd like to start with just a moment, if we could, of gratitude. A moment of gratitude for our first responders, our boots on the ground that are battling this intense and multiple jurisdiction and number of fires. So gratitude to those who are doing the work since yesterday through the night. And like Chief Maroney said, we're going to continue to work hard to ensure that we save people, lives, and property. With that, I'll be touching on a couple major points. With the Pacific Palisades fire, we know that it continues to demand a significant amount of resources and attention. A second major brush fire, now referred to as the Hearst Fire, has erupted in the Sylmar area of Los Angeles. Now, together, these fires are stretching the capacity of emergency services to their maximum limits. The Los Angeles City Fire Department is battling these two major fires while also maintaining, I want to focus on this as well, 911 services for the city's approximate 4 million residents. Now, despite the severity of the conditions, our department remains fully committed to safeguarding lives and property. Next, I want to focus on what we've done over the last 24 hours. And with that, even within the city of Los Angeles, with these two major brush fires, our department has responded to 3,624 911 calls for service. And to put that in perspective, our average is just under 1,500 calls in a 24-hour period. Over the last 24 hours, we've also responded to an additional 32 structure fires within the city. We've treated and transported an extensive number of medical emergencies, well extending our normal 650 transports to the local hospitals. When it comes to the Pacific Palisades fire, as Chief Maroney had said, this is over 3,000 acres at this point and continues to grow. We will confirm the exact acreage later, so we'll make sure that we also communicate that to the community and to the media. Last night, as of 1930 hours, all aircrafts were grounded due to the high winds. Aircraft are continued to be able to resume their water drops and acreage mapping today when the weather allows us to do so. A total of 3,398 civilians and 15,105 structures are in the evacuation zone. And again, the evacuation zones are the following: north of PCH, west of Kenter Avenue and San Vicente Boulevard, south of Mulholland Drive, and east of Topanga Canyon Boulevard. There are multiple evacuation centers which are supported by the American Red Cross. Injuries. Of course, there's a lot of interest in injuries. We have several firefighters and civilian injuries that have been reported, and all patients have been treated and transported to the local hospitals. Damage assessments. Chief Maroney did speak about a specific number. We are still vetting that through on the city side, so more information to come, and we will message that as soon as we can validate that. Approximately 400 LAFD firefighters have been deployed to the Palisades fire. We have many hundreds of law enforcement officers, our partner agency responders, and public works members engaged in supporting our overall operations. We are going to be transitioning to CAL FIRE this morning to manage this incident at 0800 hours. Next, I'd like to talk briefly about our Hearst fire, which is located in Sylmar. Last night at approximately 10:10 p.m., the fire erupted in the Sylmar area of Los Angeles, adjacent to Los Angeles National Forest. The fire has rapidly expanded to over 500 acres, prompting the emergency evacuation of more than 3,000 residents. This fire is burning within the footprint of the historic Saddle Ridge fire. Now, despite the extreme winds and significant risks, and that's what we're going to be talking about from today and probably throughout the next few days, there's always that significant risk of life and property, and we'll continue to focus on saving lives and protecting property. The exact anchorage at this point will be confirmed later, and we'll make sure that we communicate that to you as well. Lastly, we want to make sure that everybody understands we are absolutely not out of danger yet. With the strong winds that continue to push through the city and the county today, I will tell you, and we are all committed to our first responders, our firefighters will remain focused on protecting lives and property. The LAFD is extremely proud to stand with all of the entities behind me. Our top priority will continue to be life safety, ensuring that safe evacuation and the rescues of our residents that are in harm's way. It will continue to be our primary focus in this wind-driven fire event as it continues. Thank you for your cooperation, your support, and your vigilance. And today, we will continue to stand with our partners to protect everyone. Next up, I would like to introduce Sheriff Luna. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Next up. Oh, we moved it, okay.
Yes, we're just moving around, having LA Unified Superintendent Alberto Carvalho, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chair Barger, county and city leadership, in addition to the leadership of our first responders in our great community for the very, very important work you continue to do to protect our community, protect the assets, and first and foremost, the health and well-being and lives of members of our community. Los Angeles Unified is the second largest school district in the nation, representing the interests of 540,000 students and 75,000 committed employees. We make decisions regarding closure of schools in a very methodical and science-driven manner. So after a great deal of consultation overnight with experts looking at the data and considering the fact that air quality conditions deteriorated significantly overnight, we have made the decision to shut down a number of schools, particularly in the eastern part of our school system. I will define what those boundaries are. School communities, beginning with leadership, workforce, and families, have been informed about these areas. And as of now, those schools within the boundaries of the area that I will define are closed. This accounts for about 10% of our total schools in our district, about 100 schools out of 1,000 schools. The areas that I'm speaking about are schools located north of Manchester Boulevard, Firestone Boulevard, east of 10th Avenue, west of I-710, and south of Highway 134. Any school within that area, and that accounts again for the eastern part of our district, where the air quality met or exceeded levels that are not appropriate for employees or students to be around, are effectively shut down. We will be making decisions about what will happen in those schools going into tomorrow by 4 p.m. today based on the evolution conditions. In fact, since we made the decision to shut down those schools, air quality conditions have improved significantly despite the fact that they worsened significantly overnight. I want to speak specifically about schools surrounding the Palisades area. As of last night, we had to shut down 5 schools as a result of mandatory evacuation conditions. Those were Kinter Canyon Elementary School, Canyon Elementary School, Marquez Elementary School, Palisades Charter Elementary School, Revere Middle School, and Topanga Elementary School, in addition to Palisades High Charter High School. We have reports that Palisades High sustained significant damage as a result of the fire. We are working with state and federal entities to quickly access resources to address the issues facing this community. I want to very briefly address our workforce. We know today is not going to be a perfect day. A number of schools are shut down. However, localized conditions may make it difficult for our workforce or parents and students to access schools. Air quality conditions may vary and in fact may not necessarily be appropriate beyond the area where we close schools. Please use your discretion. We will utilize grace and be flexible regarding attendance and for students and employees alike. Specifically, students and employees who face chronic respiratory conditions or other health issues. We will be flexible regarding these individuals. We will provide additional updates later on today regarding conditions of schools going into tomorrow. For the schools that are open, recognizing the workforce needs of the parents of our children, beyond the bell activities, care for children in those schools will continue to be provided today. Today is not a typical day. We need flexibility, patience, and grace, and we shall extend that to our workforce and certainly our parents and students in our community. Once again, our hearts go out to those who have been impacted and our eternal gratitude to the first responders of our community for the fantastic, difficult work they've done over the past 24 hours. Thank you very much.
Morning. A lot of information to pass on, but please know this. This is a very difficult and challenging situation, but we're surrounded here by people who really care, and we're going to get through this together. That means with all of you as partners in our community. Our top priority continues to be the safety and well-being of our impacted residents, first responders, and all of the individuals involved. But understand that this is a very fluid situation, specifically in the Altadena area, and a lot of our personnel, our deputy personnel, are involved in life-saving measures as we speak now. We are working very closely with local, state, and federal agencies to provide necessary resources and support. We have been in constant communication with both our fire and law enforcement partners across LA County and beyond to ensure that all available resources that are needed are being deployed strategically and effectively, but we are prioritizing life over everything else. There are over several hundred sheriff department personnel working around the clock to evacuate residents in danger, assist with road closures, and respond to multiple missions that are given to us, and they do change periodically depending on that life mission. To ensure that everyone is going to be safe or safe as possible, additional personnel will likely be assigned to this fire as this continues to go, and you heard from our fire partners that there is no containment yet. I do want to split it up into two. I want to start talking about the Eaton fire first. Currently, there are evacuation orders in Pasadena, Altadena, and Sierra Madre. Evacuation orders, there are approximately 32,500 residents under evacuation orders and approximately 13,186 structures that we deem at risk, and that could grow. Evacuation warnings, approximately 38,600 residents are under evacuation warnings and approximately 14,342 structures are at risk. At 4 a.m. this morning, the evacuation orders did expand to parts of the city of Duarte, Monrovia, and La Cañada. And again, we continue to assess that. That's evolving, that's going to change. So I encourage you to consistently pay attention to all sources of information so you're ready to go when you are given that order, if that does come. As information's changing, even as I was driving up here, even as I'm walking up to this podium, I'm getting messages about several of our employees who have lost their homes in the last several hours. I don't know how many, because we are still gathering that information, but like all we all live here in Los Angeles County, so we are impacted. So we're going to make sure that within our department, we're wrapping our arms around our employees just like we do with community members. Again, as I was coming up here, I did find out that we did have 2 fatalities in this area. I don't have any specifics. There is a lot of damage out there. We're still in the process of doing these assessments, trying to still save lives. So this information is going to change. The Altadena Sheriff Station itself was evacuated, and it was at least limited on fire. There was some fire at the Altadena Station, but we did have to clear out all of our employees out of there. I'm hearing some miraculous stories, and they're just barely coming in, of our deputies who were trying to evacuate the Altadena Station, and then residents were running up from different locations around there, asking them for assistance in getting them out of their structures. And from what I understand, they were barely able to get people out before these structures started burning. There's just heroic stories of what our deputies are doing out there from last night and this morning. I want to make sure people know deputies are working to assist residents who are evacuating and continuing to make evacuation notices as we're speaking. They are securing areas that are evacuated, and it's always sad when I have to say this, but part of our responsibility is to make sure that no one loots or steals from our residents, our community members who are already being impacted. And I'm sad to report we made 2 arrests this morning for looting already. So if you are thinking about coming into any of these areas to steal from our residents, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be caught, you're going to be arrested, and you're going to be prosecuted. Don't do that. Stay out of these areas. It's only for emergency workers and people who live there. We are, at this point, unable to clearly determine the extent of damage at this point because the conditions are rapidly evolving and the destruction needs to be assessed as the daylight hours have come forward. I do know that I've lost at least 1 sheriff's black and white to a fire. Thank God that the deputy is okay, but deputies continue to be on patrol throughout the road closure areas to ensure evacuation areas remain closed to the public. All schools in the Pasadena Unified School District are closed. There is a road closure at Altadena Drive from Allen to New York Drive. For those in need of shelter, please head to the Pasadena Convention Center, located at 300 East Green Street in the city of Pasadena, and we're working with them in Unified Command and in partnership as well. For animals, there are established shelters at Large Animal Shelter Rose Bowl Stadium at 1001 Rose Bowl Drive in Pasadena, Small Animal Shelter Pasadena Humane Society at 361 South Raymond Avenue in Pasadena. I'm going to switch gears now to the Palisades fire that we've been heavily involved in with our partners, again with LAPD and LA City Fire and everyone else that's up there working. As of this morning, the fire was still burning in that area. That's impacting our residents. Evacuations are in effect, continuously in effect, for the city of Calabasas, the city of Malibu, Los Angeles City, Pacific Palisades, and unincorporated area of Los Angeles County and Topanga Canyon. Evacuation orders are approximately 37,000 residents under evacuation orders and approximately 15,000 structures at risk. Again, that's specifically for the Palisades fire. Evacuation warnings, approximately 20,000 residents are under evacuation warnings and approximately 6,500 structures are at risk. There have been minor injuries, and our partners at the fire department have talked about those, and several, unfortunately, structures that have been lost, and we're still assessing those. Bear with me, I'm almost there. There's a lot of information, very important information. There are several road closures which can change rapidly. The 10 freeway at Lincoln Boulevard, southbound PCH at Las Flores Canyon, southbound PCH at Topanga Canyon, Coastline Drive at southbound PCH, westbound PCH to Entrada to eastbound closed from PCH and Malibu Canyon. We have established shelters up for that fire in the following locations. Westwood Recreation Center, which is at 1350 South Sepulveda Boulevard in Los Angeles. Pasadena Convention Center, which I already mentioned, we can go there. 300 East Green Street in the city of Pasadena, and El Camino Real Charter High School, 5440 Valley Circle Boulevard in Woodland Hills. Animal shelters, large animals, LA Equestrian Center at 480 West Riverside in Burbank, large animal shelter, Pierce College, 6201 Winnetka Avenue in Woodland Hills, large animal shelter, Rose Bowl Stadium in Pasadena, small animal shelter, Agora Animal Center, and small animal shelter, Pasadena Humane Society as well. We got to take care of our pets. As I wrap up, a reminder, and you've heard it from several of us, you need to be prepared. If you are in a warning area, make sure you have your essentials, your important paperwork, your medications, things that you could take, your phone charger to survive for at least a week. But if you are told to evacuate and given an order, there is nothing worth your life. Please listen to the police and fire officials that are out there and be prepared to evacuate. If you have more questions or there's about evacuations, evacuation centers, or road closures, go to lacounty.gov/emergency or our Sheriff's Department social media. Now it's my honor to introduce my partner of the Chief of the Los Angeles Police Department, Jim McDonald.
Thank you very much. And as you look at the group assembled behind me this morning, each of those and everybody we represent who's out in the field all have families. Many are impacted directly by the fire, but they leave those families to come and try and be able to help everybody else who's out there. So I owe a debt of gratitude to everybody who is putting it all on the line for everyone else. This is a tragic time in our history here in Los Angeles, but a time where we're really tested and see who we really are. And it's critical that at these times we be patient, that we come together, that we focus on saving lives and to be able to do the very best job we can. So when we look back on this, we know that we did what we could for others. I look at the people who were out there on the line last night. The winds were like something that I have never seen before. Firefighters, police officers, deputies, they're out there sheltering in their vehicles, their trucks and their cars so that they don't end up getting burned from the fire that was being driven by 75+ mile-an-hour winds. They were there until they could get out of the car and go back to doing their work. As you can imagine, a very difficult circumstance to deal with. These are, as I mentioned, unprecedented conditions, but also unpredictable. As the fire continues to spread and pop up in different locations, none of us know where the next one is going to be. So I would ask you to be vigilant, to look at your neighborhood, to talk to your neighbors, to have everybody on board so that if they see something start up, that we get on it very quickly. We get fire resources out there as soon as we possibly can, because with these winds, once it starts small, it'll be very big very quickly. And so I would ask for everybody's help, cooperation, and vigilance in that role. As you've heard before about evacuation, that makes the difference between living and not. And so I would ask you to take these warnings, these orders to evacuate very seriously. As you've heard over and again, be ready to go, pack what you need up, but then please comply with these orders. Then we don't give them, put them out lightly. When we believe that you're in the path of the fire, we're going to order that evacuation, and we really, really need your compliance on that, because if we have to send people in to try and make rescues, those people are putting their lives on the line directly for something that could have been avoidable. Sheriff Luna mentioned looting. That's something that we also have to watch out for. That is incredible that we'd even have to talk about that during these tragic times. But we are going to take that also extremely seriously, and we will follow up with that in the strongest way possible. As far as traffic goes, that's something that we're used to dealing with here. This will be an extra test of gridlock in many places due to people not having access to their normal routes. I would say that if you have an ability to be able to stay out of the west side today, to commute or to work from home, as long as your employers are good with that, to take advantage of that. The air is very tough today for particularly those who are challenged medically. If you can stay home and work from there, I would recommend that. We will continue to support our partners in the fire service and our other law enforcement partners. But to all and the public who are watching this, sincere thank you to all of you for your cooperation and your patience as we all get through this together. Thank you.
now we're going to introduce my colleague, Supervisor Lindsay Horvath, who represents the Palisades area. Lindsay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This morning, we woke up to a dark cloud over all of Los Angeles, but it is darkest for those who are most intimately impacted by these fires. It has been an immensely painful 24 hours for communities I represent. The Palisades, the Hearst, and Woodley fires are all in the 3rd District. But our strength is in our togetherness, and that will determine how we make it through. We need your partnership in this time of crisis. It is difficult to process the immensity of the destruction and loss, and we extend our hearts and every resource we have to all of our impacted residents. We know when we talk about these structures, they aren't just structures. They aren't even just houses. They're homes. This is our home. These are places where we built community, where we raised families, where we made memories that we will never forget, even if we can't go back to these structures. These are our home. Losing home is simply devastating. And I know that we are all here to support you and stand with you in this time of need. Aggressive winds and fire know no jurisdictional boundaries, nor does coordination and action across our LA County agencies with President Biden and Governor Newsom as they unlock support through fire assistance management grants for Palisades, Eaton, and Hearst fires so far. The talent and tenacity of our first responders is nothing short of extraordinary. And I've said it before, these people on the front lines are doing this because this is their calling. This is not simply a job that they came to have an occupation. They are called to this work to keep us safe, to keep our community safe, and to do all they can in this time of crisis to protect our Los Angeles County. Overnight winds grounded our vehicles, and we have red flag conditions through the end of day tomorrow. But we know that because of these fearless warriors on the front lines, we are doing all that we can to contain this fire. Thank you for your work to keep Los Angeles County safe, including the 3rd District communities of Pacific Palisades, Topanga Canyon, Sunset Mesa, Malibu, Santa Monica, Sylmar, Granada Hills, Lake Balboa, and surrounding communities. Our #1 message to everyone in impacted areas is to follow all evacuation orders and warnings and to stay where you are safe as long as the evacuations remain in place. We continue to have shelter capacity for you, as you have heard, for you, for your pets, and we have animal sheltering sites as well. These orders are not just to keep you safe and to keep your community safe, they are also to keep those on the front lines of this devastating crisis safe. And the longer that you wait to evacuate, the more you are putting people in danger who are putting their lives on the line to protect your homes. Please don't do this. Please evacuate. There is also an evacuation order in Santa Monica, the northern border of the city to San Vicente. The warning is north of Montana to San Vicente as well. We have an evacuation order as well as a warning there. Barry J. Nydorf Juvenile Hall is in Sylmar, and that is under evacuation warning because of the Hearst fire. Our probation department has evacuation plans in place should that move to an evacuation order from a warning, and our priority is to keep our youth in our care safe. Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District has closed its schools today, and as you heard from Superintendent Carvalho, LAUSD has a variety of updates. We have heard from our state insurance commissioner as well, and while this is still quite early in this emergency, we do have some initial guidance from his office for evacuated households on reimbursable insurance expenses, with information to be found at insurance.ca.gov. Obtain a complete copy of your insurance policy. Take note of additional living expense limits. Track additional expenses. Document conversations with your insurer or adjuster, and don't rush any decisions. If you have any questions, call 800-927-4357. Please continue to check emergency.lacounty.gov for the latest information. And I know we will see brighter skies by working together. Los Angeles County will continue to be unrelenting in our response. And I know we have only the finest on the front lines fighting this fire. It's our duty to see them succeed. Thank you.
All right, now we are going to hear from LA City Council President and Mayor Pro Tem, Marquise Terrace Johnson.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I just want to begin by thanking and recognizing and acknowledging the great work of our first responders, especially the men and women of the Los Angeles Fire Department, who last night we all witnessed doing heroic work in the face of grave danger. Last night was one of the most devastating and terrifying nights that we've seen in any part of our city at any part of our history. Fire literally jumping roads, taking out structures, and our public safety professionals created an environment where injuries were kept to a minimum, fatalities were kept to a minimum, and we wake up this morning with a renewed spirit that we can defeat this fire and move on to a brighter day. I want to also acknowledge the two members of the council that are with us today that represent the areas of the fire. Councilwoman Tracy Park of the 11th District, who's I think probably has about 90 minutes sleep by my count, because every time I looked on the television, you were there knocking on doors in neighborhoods, in community centers, at the shelters, making sure the community was okay. And then an absolute professional, someone who, since I've been on the council with her, has had to fight a fire almost every year. And so is a pro from the San Fernando Valley, the council member from the 7th District, Monica Rodriguez. And again, all the men and women, the firefighters are in the front, but our DWP workers are out there making sure we don't have additional fires from power lines, and countless folks, DOT, making sure the flow of traffic stays so that folks who want to evacuate can do so, are out there as well. So there's literally thousands and thousands of people working together to make this work. I want to announce a few more closures to add to the school closures that we heard and the closures that the sheriff and the supervisor read to us. Griffith Park closed today, including Lake Hollywood. Runyon Canyon closed today. The Los Angeles Zoo closed today. The Hollywood Reservoir closed today. The Hollywood Sign closed today, as well as all the roads through the Sepulveda Basin in the San Fernando Valley. So nobody should be going those places today anyway. I will amend what Chief McDonald said. Not only if you're on the west side or in the valley, anywhere in this city, if you can stay off the roads, please do so. I live in South LA, a long way away from the fires. Visibility is less than 1 block because of the smoke. So if there is not a good reason for you to be on the roads, we ask that you leave the roads open as possibly as you can to the public safety professionals that have to do their work and will lead us out of the crisis that we face here in the city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles today. Also, lastly, just grateful for the work of the President of the United States, kicked in for us late last night, who happens to be in Southern California. The governor was with us in the Pacific Palisades last night and has helped out. And a range of municipalities around the county and outside the county have come in to help where they can. And we're extremely, extremely grateful for their help in this time of crisis for our city and our county. And with that, I will ask the Director of the Office of Emergency Management for Los Angeles County, Kevin McGowan, to come to the mic.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm Kevin McGowan. I'm the director with the LA County's Office of Emergency Management. As my partners up here have said before, we're facing a historic natural disaster, and I think that can't be stated strong enough. This is not a normal red flag. We've been in partnership with the National Weather Service for days prior to the arrival of this severe windstorm. There's been amazing communication by the National Weather Service, and they should be acknowledged for all of the communication that was put out days in advance. What's critical about that is it partnered all of our public safety and emergency organizations throughout the county to begin preparations for this. And a lot of the successes we saw over the last 18 to 20 hours is a direct result of painstaking preparations that had gone into place for the last 48 to 72 hours. We still have a long road ahead of us. Our county is known with wildland fires. We just finished working on the Franklin fire. We've had the Bridge fire, the Post fire. This has been a very destructive fire season. This is just going to add to it. Our eyes are on mitigating the impacts from this emergency, working with our community partners, and then charting a course for what will be a long recovery effort. With that, I would like to introduce our Department of Public Works for LA County Director, Mark Pistrella.
Good morning, thank you, Kevin. My name is Mark Pistrella. I'm the Director of Public Works for Los Angeles County, the largest public works department in the United States. We're coordinating across the area with all our partner agencies, including, of course, primarily the City of Los Angeles, in addressing this event today. I'm going to talk a little bit about what our focus is in terms of infrastructure, and then I'll move on. Before I do that, though, I do want to acknowledge all of the residents that have either lost a home or who are being evacuated. I do personally understand what that is about and understand what kind of fear that can put into you. One thing I would recommend to you before you leave that home, if you want something to do, is to close that home up tight, close any openings, completely tight to the home, and make sure that access is open to the fire department in the event that they want to come on and do work on your property. That's one thing I've learned through the years is important. So right now, LA County Public Works is focused on water supply, the road safety and transportation system, and preparing our flood control system for the inevitable post-event, which may be flows of debris and mud. With respect to water resources, there's been quite a bit of talk in the media about the water system that we're using for suppression. So let me make the following statement. There have been quite a bit of comments over social media about the local water supply and its impact on firefighting efforts. There is collaboration across this region. Over 200 water retailers serve the region. LA County serves the area that in the Eaton fire area. LA City serves the area, the Palisades area. We also serve the Palisades area in the north area of unincorporated area water supply through the hydrant system. The municipal water systems that service our homes and businesses continue to work effectively. However, they are not designed to fight wildfires. A firefight with multiple fire hydrants drawing water from the system for several hours is unsustainable. This is a known fact. That's why air support is so critical to the firefight, and unfortunately, wind and air visibility have prevented that support. County and city water reservoirs, open reservoirs, are available and on standby once that support becomes available. We will be having fixed wing as well as helicopter draw of water from our system. We also need customers to understand that it is really quite futile to attempt to fight fire with your hose at your house. That's not something I would recommend you do, but in fact I would ask that you turn off your water and turn off your gas, both things, before you leave the residence so that we can continue to have that water supply for the hydrant system. The transportation system is operating with many, many closures. Those closures are meant for evacuation as well as fire suppression efforts. So we're asking residents not to abandon vehicles in streets, to not park vehicles in streets, but to leave those vehicles on your property. And we ask that you drive very carefully because we also have the other event of wind right now. And we have numerous signals out across the area. So we need people to drive very consciously in the street system And then the third piece in the road system and in our homes is the wind is causing massive tree fall. We have numerous, over hundreds and hundreds of trees that have fallen in the area already. We expect more of that to occur. This is a safety hazard for you and your children. So we're asking that you avoid walking outside, avoid being under trees, avoid parking cars under trees. All the things, as you can imagine, that a tree can do. A tree can be just as devastating to a home and to your personal self as a fire. So please be aware that the wind event is going to continue and the infrastructure is in place to do with that. We are currently preparing to remove that. We are removing trees as they fall where it's safe to do so. There will be a mass debris removal system put together that the county is coordinating. We would be removing and working with the cities to remove the mass debris that's going to occur not only from the structures that have been damaged, but all of these trees that are down. So please, one of the things is make way for our utility workers who are in support of the very, very, very brave firemen and sheriff and police force that are out doing their job. We are in full support of them. So lastly, on the flood control system, this is just a quick note that yes, in fact, we will have a lot of debris. The flood control system has been impacted, that covers the entire region by the fire. In fact, many of our facilities have been burned. One in Eden area, Eden Yard, where there is a debris dam there, and its facilities are currently threatened. We're looking at that and going to raise up those systems. As we enter into post-fire, our department will be available to do review of your individual properties to make sure that you're safe from debris flow as another event that may occur in LA County. With that, I'm happy to turn over the microphone to my partner from the Department of Water and Power, the General Manager, Janice Quiones.
Thank you, Mark. I am Janice Quiones, CEO and Chief Engineer for LADWP. I want to start by thanking everybody on this response. I've been in emergency management my whole career, and the collaboration I've seen in this response has been incredible. Especially our first responders, our crews. I want to thank our crews that have been working on high winds, trying to restore power as fast as possible. And also county, city council, mayor's office. The mayor has been in contact with me all the time. And also other utilities in California have been proactively reaching out to us to help us with the restoration. So we're in the process of contacting them to ask for more support. I want to continue the thought process that Mark had about water supply in Palisades. We had a tremendous demand on our system in the Palisades. We pushed the system to the extreme. 4 times the normal demand was seen for 15 hours straight, which lowered our water pressure. We were pushing 75 CFS on our trunk line to try to keep water pressures in the system. If there's a message you take away from me today, is I need our customers to really conserve water, not just in the Palisade area, but the whole system, because the fire department needs the water to fight the fires, and we're fighting a wildfire with urban water systems, and that is really challenging. What happened in Palisades? We have 3 large water tanks, about 1 million gallons each. We ran out of water in the first tank at about 4:45 p.m. yesterday. We ran out of water in the second tank about 8:30 p.m. and the third tank about 3 a.m. this morning. Those tanks help with the pressure on the fire hydrants and the hills of Palisades. And because we were pushing so much water in our trunk line, and so much water was being used before it can get to the tanks, we were not able to fill the tanks fast enough. So the consumption of water was faster than we can provide water in our trunk line. So I want to make sure that you understand there's water on the trunk line. It just cannot get up the hill because we cannot fill the tanks fast enough. And we cannot lower the amount of water that we provide to the fire department in order to supply the tanks because we're balancing firefighting with water. So we have our operations people on the water side at the command post with the fire department, helping them with tactics to ensure that we can provide as much water as we can find to our first responders. What are we doing now? We're sending about 20 water tanks for our construction crews full of water to support the fire department. We identify other areas in our system where our tankers can refill. It takes about 30 minutes to refill about 4,000 gallons of water, and we're constantly moving that water to the fire department to get them as much water as we can. I would also ask for the people on zip code 90272, because we're pushing the water system so hard, our water quality is decreasing. So we're gonna be issuing a boil water notice this morning, and that will extend
So
for
there's
about 48
talk of this
hours.
boil water notice this morning for some of the residents in the Palisades fire area. And this official was talking about the fact that the enormous amount of water that has been required so far to battle these fires that are still 0% contained. She was talking about the fact that they have 1 million gallon essentially wells that have been run dry. I want to go to NBC's Liz Kreutz in Malibu this morning. Liz, good morning. These fires are so massive. There's, more than 0% contained, and we know that now that 2 people have lost their lives, there are many injured. What are you seeing at this hour?
I mean, Jose, the only word that comes to mind truly here, and we're on the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu, is apocalyptic. I'm just going to show you for a moment. I mean, look here to my left. This home destroyed, and this is home after home after home. Behind me here, you see the flames. This home's still burning here. This is, again, the Pacific Coast Highway. If you look this way, we should be seeing the ocean, but it is a wall of smoke, and usually what we see are homes. These are beachfront homes, pristine homes on the iconic California coastline that are just gone. And it is not just this section of the PCH, it is up and down the highway here. So we are seeing mass destruction in Malibu. What happened is the winds pushed the Palisades fire from the Pacific Palisades north overnight. It came into Malibu, and thousands of people had to evacuate. And you heard the officials there say that there were people who sustained serious injuries, people who did not heed those evacuation warnings. There was also a firefighter that was injured who had a serious head injury trying to battle this fire. So this is a massive fire, and the scary part is that it's, we're still in the thick of this windstorm, so the worst may still be to come.
Liz Kreutz, thank you so very much. Appreciate it. I want to bring in this morning from Los Angeles, Bobby Oliver, a Pasadena, California resident who evacuated from her home just last night. Bobby, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Just, if you would, take us to last night.
Thank you for having me. Yesterday we got a wind advisory, and I had gone out during the day, and it was very windy, but as the night went on, it got crazy windy. And we live a couple of miles from Eaton Canyon. We actually live very near that McDonald's you showed on fire. And so we could see from our window that there was, we could tell that there was a fire in the distance. But we see that from time to time, and it never comes as far as our way. So we were paying attention. We were cautious. We went out to our porch because our blinds were slamming against the window and things were going everywhere, and we smelled smoke, which we've never done before at a fire at Eaton Canyon. So we closed our porch door, and then we noticed we could smell it. We could still smell the smoke in our house, and I was like, okay, we've never been evacuated before, but maybe we should start gathering some things up. And so we got our passports. We got our dogs. My dad, who passed away, was a woodworker and a painter, and so I gathered up my favorite items that he'd made, and we just threw our dogs in the car and came out to our business. We don't have friends, we have friends, but we don't have family in Los Angeles. But luckily, my husband and I own a comedy studio in Los Angeles, which is like an hour away from the fire where we were. So we just put our dogs in the car and came out here and really just thought we were evacuating from smoke. So we didn't bring, I think, as many things as I would have had I realized the situation. And the video and the pictures you're showing, my neighbors, we were all texting each other furiously until like about 4 a.m. when everybody but me went to sleep. And just the videos and the pictures, and the worst part is not knowing. I mean, it's Schrodinger's house right now. It could be fine or it could be gone, and we just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how do you? And I'm just wondering, Bobby, those moments that you had, which, by the way, it's fortunate that you had some moments, right? Because so many other people are having to just get out immediately. And I know
it
that
was very quick.
Yeah. And how do you choose what to bring out? How do you choose what to take with you? Obviously, your pets and your family, but how do you choose what you bring out of that's something that could very much be the last times you have that option?
Right, and I think really, I mean, I know this is always the lesson, but I really think we should have been more prepared. We should have anticipated that something like this can happen. We really just, all of a sudden, we heard a bullhorn. I'm not sure if it was a fireman or a police officer, and they said, evacuate now. And so we had gathered a few things, but at that point, we just got everything we had gathered and left. And I feel like, in the future, for something like this, like I should have had a go bag. I should have, we left with the clothes on our back. We're very lucky that we're alive and our dogs are alive, but we don't know what's happening with our house. We don't know if we've lost everything. It's really terrifying. And I know so many people are going through this at the same time.
Hey, Bobby, my best to you and to your family. And I just want you to know these are such difficult times, but where there is life, there is hope. And I just want to thank you for the time and wish you and yours all the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And joining us now is David Acuna, Public Information Officer for CAL FIRE. David, thank you very much for being with us this morning. What is your team seeing right now?
Well, thank you for having me on. So the entire Southern California area is being affected by an extremely strong wind event. We're used to red flag warnings. This is actually a red flag warning with a special annotation of particularly dangerous situation, where we've had winds from 60 to 100 miles per hour affecting the region from Ventura all the way down to San Diego. And so these winds will pick up any small amount of fire, and we do know that 95% of all fires are caused by humans. So any small fire grows rapidly. We have 3 major fires running right now, and we continue to have smaller fires get started. And we still have resources deployed across the entire state prepared to respond to those new small fires.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that none of these fires, or I should say that all of these fires are 0% contained, and then that new fire that essentially just started up, last night, and then we're talking about the Hearst fire in the area of Sylmar. How do you deal with something like that? It seems as though, forecasters have been talking about the possibility of these strong winds coming in this week. How do you deal with that now when you have 0% containment?
Well, the first thing is preparedness, like everything else. And so what we did was we started moving resources down from the north part of the state where they have sufficient rain and snow to mitigate the fire risk so that they could be here for the initial attack phase. And then we continue to request additional resources from local government and state agency in order to bring more firefighters, equipment, and hand crews to the firefight.
Just for the folks that maybe, aren't from the Los Angeles area or don't, it's tough to really kind of understand how massive, how widespread of an area is being affected right now by these different fires.
Yeah, so it is an extremely large area. We're talking about everywhere from Ventura on the coast, north of Los Angeles, through Orange County, through Riverside County, parts of San Bernardino County, all the way into San Diego County. So it is an incredibly large area, and we stand ready to fight every single one of those.
And so, David, what's your message to the folks? And I know that you all have also been speaking to our Spanish language community in the area. What's your message to the folks around the area?
Well, the most important thing is if you're in the area, first of all, be prepared. If you can navigate to readyforwildfire.org, you can find resources for how to prepare a evacuation bag. What evacuation plans you need to make, not only for yourself, but for pets and livestock. And then also keep an eye on our incident map at fire.ca.gov in order to find out what the latest evacuation warnings and evacuation orders are.
David Acuna, I thank you very much for being with us this morning. That wraps up the hour from me. I'm Jose Diaz-Balart. Thank you for the privilege of your time.